We open the December 3rd, 2025 select board meeting. Do we have adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, we need to approve the minutes for the November 24th special meeting, select for meeting.
For the 19th.
Yes, correct the error. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Any other adjustments? Comments from the community? Do we have any comments from the community right now? Hearing none, then we'll review the correspondence. We received from Jane Campbell, the Lemoyle Fiber Net Morrisville representative. She's outlining that Lemoyle Fiber Net Communication Union District has successfully completed its universal service plan, ensuring that every on-grid address within its 10-town footprint now has access to at least one high-speed broadband provider. And it goes on to talk about maybe their future plans. Just a thank you. I'll pass that around for people to read in detail.
I know Richard was supposed to join us. I don't know.
The Memorial County Courthouse has set up a preliminary budget meeting on Wednesday, December 12th at 6 o'clock in Hyde Park. If anyone wants to go. The budget is, I will pass around the budget. It looks like we will see an increase of $1,726. And as you may or may not know, we have no voice in this budget. The LTC has 3 webinars available: grant funding, open meeting laws, and an advocacy chat. The Memorial Basin Water Quality Council's regular meeting is going to be held Thursday, December 4th, 9 to 11 a.m. This is Zoom. If you'd like to zoom into that. Northern Rivers Land Trust, who is the conservation on our forest, has sent in a newsletter and request for a donation. The Memorial Family Center has also sent in a newsletter and a request for annual donation. Morrisville Local Health Office annual report. And I will start passing them around. You can review them at your leisure. So we were a little ahead of the budget hearing.
We haven't approved the minutes.
Oh, sorry. I'll make a I would like to accept a motion to adopt the November 19th and 24th minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Richard. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I had some corrections in the 19th minutes. I don't think Steve Prince was here. I think it was Brett Egan.
Okay, thank you.
So he's in this thing twice. So he's the treasurer of the fire department.
Thank you. EGA or EA?
AGAN. I had a question, on the correspondence about insurance, about, insuring the athletic container and its contents.
We discussed adding those to the overall insurance, like the property insurance, and you said no, not yet. We have to make sure that they are part of the town because they maintain their own books.
Right. They are a separate entity, okay. So, Parity moved to approve updates to the annual insurance policy. So we're not adding them at that time. Okay, I just wanted some clarity on that, that's all.
One that's spelled out in the,
No, that's all right. And then on page 3, under select board review B. It says held week to begin negotiation for purchase during this public comment period. I think what it was is Linda asked Hellwig if she could begin negotiations during the purchase comment period.
Victoria.
Because Tori's not gonna negotiate.
Oh, so if you could begin, oh, okay, all right. And that's page 3.
Does anybody else have anything? Hearing none then. All those in favor of approving the November 19th and November 24th minutes? Yeah. Vote. Carried. A little closer now. I think we can start, Dylan, with the highway coming out.
I think they're staying pretty level for this coming year. Labor's going up 3.5%. Seasonal part-time employee for the winter, we're leaving that the same. Insurance is gonna be going down. I've switched to my wife's. Uniforms, we increased a little bit. Expecting they'll go up, right, Michelle? A little bit. Yeah. Telephone up from 500 to 1,320.
That's because we dropped it to 500 because we were gonna eliminate the phone, and then I've had several people say that's unsafe for security measures, you should have a phone over there, so when we go to Fidium, we'll be doing, it's about $114 a month to do the voice over IP as well as the internet. So it was at 1,200 in the past, then we dropped it to 500 and that's back up.
Electricity, $300 increase, because that never goes down. Diesel, gas, heating oil, up from 35,000 up to 40,000. Add $5,000 from fund balance. Fuel cost to bring to 40,000.
I have a question about that one.
You all told me to put that in the notes.
That was something,
But do we have any of that money left, Belinda?
I won't know until the end of this year, but,
In the fund balance? there.
yeah, well, we have, I think, around 10.
so when we were trying,
So we do have a.
when we were trying to scalp the budget last year to try and buy down some of the cost.
Yeah.
The idea was if we approved 35 for this year, whatever you guys went over to the average of 40 that you guys have been spending,
Mhm.
we would pull from the fund balance. So my memory is the fund balance currently has something like 16,
Yes,
and then we would pull the 5 from
Right.
there if you guys.
you're gonna have about 10.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we added. The other departments usually never go over. It's usually just the highway department. So that's why I only estimated about 5.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't think you guys went over last year either. I think you were under 40,
I think it was really close.
like 38, I mean, it was close.
It was close. Yeah. Signs, we reduced that from 3,000 down to 1,500. We're hoping for some grants and we have that, grant or whatever it was that we were unaware of here this
The
fall. They
safety.
came around and replaced a ton of signs, so
Yeah.
I knocked out a lot of them for us. Supplies staying the same, equipment replacement funds staying the same. Tires reduced from 7,600 to 5,000. I'll be buying the greater tires with this year's budget, hopefully. Obviously, I will have to probably buy some tires for this new ton truck, so that might affect things a little bit. I'm not sure. I'll make it work.
You have to replace them on the new tandem that's coming as well, or is that? gonna-
No, those are usually good for like a year or two.
And your other trucks are fine?
They're all right, yeah. Equipment repairs, so we reduced that to 30. But we'll have the new tandem, so the only thing that won't be covered under warranty will be my dump truck, so hopefully we won't be spending a ton of money in repairs. And we also added out of that a new for plow cutting edges, cutting edges for the grader, loader, all the parts that we anticipate will be going through tire chains. So in that line item, we put 15,000 into that. For a grand total between those two of 45,000, so a $5,000 increase. Tools staying the same. Salt increased from 47,000 up to 55. It was quite a significant increase per ton this year in salt, up from like $91 or something like that, up to 103. Chloride reduced from 33,000 down to 30 to help offset the cost, the increase in the salt. Culvert staying the same, cold patch same. Winter sand basically same, up $250. Gravel, we reduced that from 12,500 down to 10,000. Class 2 construction, leaving that at 8,000. I think that's a pretty good number. Class 3 increased $2,000 to cover the cost of the road erosion inventory that we have to have done this year. Class 4 maintenance, same. Bridge maintenance, same. Guardrails, same. Miscellaneous, same. Bridge rental, that'll be going away, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
See how it's not the total amount, because they think they're gonna take it out, what, in March?
Like that.
Mhm.
Well, the road will be closed, so I don't know when they're taking it out.
Yeah. Yeah, why pay for a bridge we can't use?
Exactly.
Do we still continue to pay for it until they remove it?
I just won't.
Like,
Oh, I'm gonna tell them, okay, bridge,
Don't get it.
we can't use it.
They're probably gonna need it removed anyways, so they
Yeah.
can
We're
work on
gonna
it.
have to take it out
Yeah,
to put the new bridge in. So.
yeah.
The state general permit, that's the same. Outside equipment use staying the same at 3,000. Janitor, same. Brush cutting, we increased 6,400 because is that what it cost Michelle this past year, but we had an extra 1,000 left over from roadside mowing that covered that difference, so. Town garage land lease, 250, same, and roadside mowing, 10,000, same. So. Grand total, I think, reduces us like,
It's on the back, it's 5,700.
50.
Which I was thinking that maybe if we left the highway, we could take that 5,700 and start to pay back the 550.
So then we would have to.
So that would just take, in this proposed budget, you're saying take the equipment fund wherever that line item is. Instead of that being 120, make it 125, and then Belinda will do her accounting magic to drag money where it goes.
Well,
One of the things that I just really thought of, me and you talked about it, under the paving item, we wanted to split that up into a paving item and a pavement maintenance item, right?
Oh, yeah, like.
Like seal, crack sealing. So like put 10,000 into crack sealing and 40,000 into paving.
and then in end of June, whatever we have left in paving, if
We have to carry it over.
Yeah, we have to carry it over.
you get
Only if
what,
we
like
let them.
month.
You have to ask.
I think it's more confusing to break it up because that way you've got the money in there and if you say, well, I really needed to pave, you can
Okay.
pave and you know, I'll catch up with the crack sealing
And
next year.
paving and the crack sealing, I think, go together in the same category. You could put
Yeah.
paving slash,
I just consider
Repair.
one construction and one maintenance.
right, that's true. That is true.
We go back to this diesel, gas, heating and oil. So you've increased it, but you're gonna use $5,000 from the fund balance. Why don't you reduce it?
That note was from last year. That note doesn't mean this year's budget. That $5,000 thing was an idea that I think I had had. So in the proposed budget, it's not coming out of the fund balance. That note shouldn't exist. That note was on last year's budget. Am I,
Oh, I thought it was carrying over this year as well, but I can reduce the note.
If-
Eliminate the note.
if we're gonna fund them to 40, then they shouldn't need 45.
Right. Oh, I thought that the five, in my mind, the way I wrote it, it was 40, but 5,000 was coming from it.
Then you down to
I
35,
put it at
Yeah,
35.
because your fund balance is already set aside.
So should I just keep it at 40 and we know that we're, keep it at 35? Okay.
I have questions. How much time you got?
You only have.
Yeah, correction. How much time have I got?
Let's see.
I will move very, very quickly. Supplies, you're at 66% of what you had budgeted last year. You've got $800 left. I don't know what goes into supplies, but just looking at what you've asked for, the same as last year, you're 20% over what you should be for this time of year.
Okay.
And then the next one, your electric, your janitor, you're pretty close. Your gas, heat and oil, you're pretty close. The next big one was you are at 60% currently of your parts and repair budget. We are currently 42.75% through our budget year. And you have currently burned 60% of your parts and repair.
Mhm.
Not saying that's a problem, just saying is 45 enough?
Well, you
Well,
won't have.
we're anticipating my truck being the only one that's not under warranty. The dump truck will be new, Joey's truck will be new. The green truck is not new anymore, but it's still under warranty.
Okay.
Grader excavator, I'm hoping we won't go over that.
Okay.
Do we have a list of
Obviously, that's hypothetical.
what trucks need repairs?
Yeah, it's
Even that?
it's broken down, and actually what's hilarious to me is truck 16, the one that's leaving, is $3,000, $3,500 less than truck 18, the one we're keeping.
That's because we haven't been putting any money into it because it's leaving.
That's what I figured, because I figured you'd stop trying to repair, it.
Yeah.
Just like with the one time, you just have to stop.
Historically, I feel like in the past few years that I've been around, we haven't seen a significant drop in repairs with new iron. But you're right, we've had 2 old ones and 1 new one. Maybe this next new one is the turning of the tide.
To roll up the dice.
Yeah. I didn't get all the
I
way.
mean, if you want to get more money, I mean, we can put it in there.
It's in great shape.
Those were all of the givings. Here's some of the, actually, you know what? No, those were all of the givings. We're into the takings.
Still channels.
Supply gear and body, that's getting tired.
So
Oh, okay.
culverts, finding a bunch of culverts in the spring.
We're gonna have a bunch of FEMA ones, hopefully.
No, the FEMA doesn't give you full cost. Even with FEMA and the state, we are required to do projects
Mhm.
that we're not fully funded.
Just looking at the numbers again, 42%, almost 43% through the budget year, 13% has been spent. I know springtime's a busy time of year. Just want to make sure that that number is accurate to what you guys are using.
You don't usually buy them until the following spring, right?
Right.
This year, we had a lot of grants too.
Yeah.
We did a lot of grants.
Granted aid,
Granted
bog, yeah.
And the Better Road.
Better roads, yeah.
And then we had people buying their own driveway.
And same question I have for outside equipment use. You haven't used a dime of that yet. I don't know if that's a springtime expense.
It's an any time of year expense if we need to hire.
Kind of like emergency bucket.
It's an emergency, yeah.
We really got the right answer. So what are the plans for next year?
Well, with
During culverts,
FEMA, there can be potentially 5 culverts. We're fighting a couple because they want us to install wing walls, prefab concrete wing walls. So this is all being revisited, and then I'll bring it to the select board to see if this is an investment that we want to do, because the way they rewrote this, or the way they prepared the work to be completed is a huge mess, and even Lisa with the has said it's a mess. So I can't even tell you how much they're gonna pay, but if they're not gonna pay for contract labor to install the concrete head walls, wing walls, then I don't know that the town, I mean, we'd have to revisit that.
So we'd have to replace the culverts ourselves at our expense.
Well, we had planned on replacing the culverts ourselves, but now they're saying instead of stone head walls, they want concrete prefab head walls in place.
And they're gonna pay for them?
They're gonna pay partly for those, but not for the installation, and we would have to contract out for that. And so that's where we're at a standstill right now.
oh yeah, the labor is included in FEMA.
Not in all FEMA, Linda, because if it was like, there are certain restrictions, if it was declared, 5%, like if we put it back to 50%, but then we're applying for mitigation to make it's all over there. They weren't gonna fund all of them, no. Labor is not included in all of them if we put it back to kind of working order, but then we're applying for hazard mitigation.
Well, that didn't answer any of my questions.
Exactly.
Do you have more grants coming up this year where you're not gonna be putting in culverts yourself, that we need them or not? That's what I wanna know.
Say that again.
Do you have any grants planned this spring?
Do you have grants planned,
Yes,
next year,
we have. the
July
grant-
1st?
Yes, we'll have the grant aid, which is double what it was this year, so that'll.
That's sent.
But I'm talking about culverts, installing
Yes.
grants that install culverts.
Yes, the better.
That you won't have time to do ones that you don't have any grants for.
Hopefully
Hopefully what?
we'll have time to do the ones that we don't have the grants for. We have our list that we generated with all the urgent ones and everything. We need to revisit that this winter and decide a specific plan, which ones we're gonna attack.
And is there about 6 of them in there?
Oh, no, there's like 20 or 30.
Oh, okay.
Critical, that should have been, yeah. And we have, if we get the Better Road grant, category B, there's like 2 or 3 on Elmore Pond Road culverts that will be replaced as part of that. And then that's resurfacing a good chunk of Corshane Farm and is that called the flat part or?
So what I'm getting at is, do you gonna have time to put in more culverts that aren't grant related during the year?
I think that's hinging on FEMA.
Yeah.
And if we're the ones that are gonna be doing the work,
Okay. That's all I wanna know.
yes. I think
And you
that's,
put the money in there for culverts and then you have all the grants.
well, we should put it in there.
Culverts,
We
what
should-
you need money for
We
culverts.
should put the money in there anyway, and if we don't have time to put the culverts in, we can at least buy them and put them out back, because they're.
That's exactly what I was thinking, that they
Get an inventory.
I was also thinking too, that would be a good idea because then prices always go up.
Yes.
You've got,
You don't know what you're gonna have to replace in the spring for mud season even.
you've got 2 months to burn $13,000 worth of culverts. You should, this winter, when we figure out which ones you're gonna do, burn the 13 grand buying them. And then if this budget goes through and we approve you for you asking for 15, is that the number?
Mhm.
We'll be having the exact same conversation. I'll have 13 grand left next year and we'll be telling you to buy a bunch of them.
Or it could be that money is gonna go into FEMA.
Right. Yeah.
And I know.
There's nothing that says that we can't have an inventory of things.
No.
So, I mean, as many as we can afford to buy right now and put them up back.
Yeah.
Plenty in the bank.
Yeah.
We'll use them.
Before prices go up.
I cannot buy ahead for FEMA yet because we don't know which one.
Right.
To themselves.
Right.
So next question, class 2, you think 8 grand's a good number? You're at 76%.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think you're gonna do much class 2 in the spring?
Well, I use that mainly for gravel farm drill. I put all that 8 grand on farm drill.
Okay.
It could burn it up easy. I think. Yeah.
Class 3, you're at 54%. You got 22 grand to spend in essentially May and June.
Let's see.
The last 3. You feeling comfortable about that?
I think so. Yeah, I try to keep about half of it for the spring.
Excellent. You are way over on miscellaneous. I don't know what goes into miscellaneous, but
We're over on it this year.
yeah, you're at
It
150%.
it was paint, it's newspaper notices.
It's $880. It's small money. I just was curious.
But-
I don't put much of anything into miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Paint for the plows. I guess one of the only things that I can think of that I put into it.
Okay. And then my big question. Salt. So it has gone up substantially. I did a little brain picking today. And I know you've got somebody coming to look at Jim's truck, 23, whatever it is. We go through, according to this, 450 tons a year, roughly.
Average, well, yeah, sometimes, yeah, average.
And I guessed at the mileage. Would you say we've got around 15 miles of blacktop?
Yeah.
Okay, just for napkin math, that's all this is. So Ricky Moore in Eden, he goes through 100 ton for 13 miles, is what he said tonight.
He sands all his pavement.
He sands a lot of his pavement. Just throwing the noise out there.
Sweeps it in the spring. We've got no sweeper.
Okay. Anyway, he's at 770, or 7.7 tons a mile over the course of the year. And I'm just trying to break this down into something that we can compare.
Mhm.
State, Burr goes through 2,500 tons on 138 miles.
Mhm.
Breaks down to 18.11 tons a mile.
Mhm.
We go through 450 at 15, that's 30 tons a mile.
Mhm.
Just curious if there's a reason for that, if it's because the calibration is wrong, because we're using more, if I've done my math wrong. Just wondering what.
Sounds like we're putting too much down. We'll put less down.
Well, that's the simple answer, but I'm not saying that I'm correct. I'm wondering. I mean, I'm just curious the reason for that.
Do you put any up at the school?
Mhm.
Is that all salt up there?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered about that. The parking lot, everything is salt, right?
Okay, so, and that's a huge area that nobody else, I mean, V-Trans isn't doing that.
That's correct.
And like you said, between Ricky Sand and everything, and he's obviously not doing a parking lot because they don't plow the school, I don't think. So that could attribute some of it. That could attribute some of it, certainly. Yeah, I don't know. I know salt has gotten expensive. We upped it last year, we're upping it again this year.
We've stayed relatively inside the budget, haven't we?
Yeah, no, you guys are close. Well, you haven't spent a dime on it this year. You got 47,000 to spend, but you haven't bought any.
I don't think anything's been reflected in that yet.
Yeah.
We've
No,
lost-
I just got a bill, but we haven't paid it yet.
Yes, not anymore.
First bill.
So. That was really the only thing that I was thinking we might be able to see a substantial savings.
Yeah,
If we
I would like to do that. That's why I'm looking into the,
okay. Other than
I
that,
don't know about the school, how much that takes.
yeah, that eats up a lot.
It does. Maybe we should cut back on that. You know what I mean? How much we put up there. But we don't want little kids sliding off. Breaking their legs. So.
Maybe we should have a revenue line item where the school.
Phil comes down and gets salt from us too. I mean, I'm just saying, he uses some of our salt in the buckets to
Yeah.
do their walkways too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Not
just,
that I think it's much, but.
well, 103 a ton. So,
Mhm.
I have to school get
Yeah, I thought that for a long time.
They went up 12%.
and just going through it quickly, that was the only kind of thing that stood out to me. I mean, your labor number is a little under where it should be, but you guys have just started your overtime routine.
Mhm.
If you had to ballpark what you think each round, when you guys do a full route, what do you think that cost us?
$1,000 a truck.
Really that little?
Yeah, I would say so.
I did some napkin math. I thought it was $5,000, so I'm glad to see I'm wrong.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
don't know
salt.
math.
No, I'm thinking
Labor, fuel.
labor, fuel, material. You know, a percentage of the repair bill was how I did it. I figured.
Oh, yeah, just thinking about it.
Labor.
Yeah, so the only question I still have is what you come up with salt, I guess, and as long as you're comfortable with everything else.
Yeah, like I said, I'm working on the salt. I'd like to get that thing calibrated. That's why I sent Jim to those salt classes this fall.
Yeah, I saw the order for those. I didn't know he went. That's cool though.
It's a big topic across the board with every town, I think, is salt reduction.
Yeah, well, and aren't they were talking about mandating something, weren't they? State was?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything more about it, but yeah, there was talk of it.
Especially because, well, North Wolcott Road, I think is probably our biggest
It is.
offender and we're 8 feet from a wild branch for most of it, so.
Mhm.
Not to throw a wrench in here, but I went the other day to DMV and I went through Worcester. They put it in the middle. And they don't put it anywhere else, that salt. Only Worcester was,
too.
they just put it in the middle. I mean, I was like straddling, you know?
Right in the middle.
You can't drive in the middle because you're gonna meet traffic, but what I'm trying to say is, we do something different than that, right? We put it more.
No, we put it in the middle.
You do, okay.
The tires are supposed to move it when they.
Yeah, you put it in the middle and traffic will move it around for you.
It'll burn from the center line out.
That's right.
It wasn't.
I will say you often pull off from Route 15 onto North Wolcott Road and there is a very clear difference between what the state is applying and what we're applying. They've got wheel tracks only and we are white line to white line. And I'm not saying
Is that bad?
I was gonna say, I'm not saying necessarily that that's a bad thing as long as we can afford it, but
Well, you can apply less per trip. And I've tried that. The problem with that is when you apply less, you go around and apply half of what we are right now. In a little, like an hour, you have to go and do it again.
well, and like I said, that's why I'm saying, you know, is there a reason for the 30 tons? Yeah, there's a reason for the 30 tons. We put it down, we go once.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that makes sense.
at least at night.
Yeah.
During a snowstorm or something, I shouldn't say because I'm not running the truck. I was at one point, but when I was doing it, I just put down enough to keep things loose underneath so that you could keep it scraped clean.
Yeah.
And then when the storm's over, then you put a dose down and open it up.
Well, I think it's important though. I like how you're doing it. You know, you come off Route 15 and you have to go up the hill and all those windies.
Yeah.
I can tell you, you know exactly when you hit cross rail line, exactly, you can see it.
Clear as day.
Oh, yeah. The roads are like perfect, and then you get cross grade, and they barely have been, like, they've been plowed, but I don't see that there's really, maybe there's some gravel that I don't know, but I don't see a lot.
That was true a couple of Sundays ago as well, even on the back roads. I traveled across Bridge Roads, Edens Roads, and Hyde Parks Roads, and the minute I touched Moore Hill and Wolcott, there was sand. I mean, Joey was, I'm assuming Joey was out Sunday evening.
I didn't even see the card.
Okay,
Looks good, Dylan.
yeah, that was the only,
One thing too, we want to talk then about moving that 5,000 into the equipment fund.
Looks good, Dylan.
yeah, that was the only
Yeah.
questions.
And how we want to do that. I mean, if we want to proceed, I'll talk to Belinda on how to make it fit. That we're
So we're taking
taking
off of,
if we would
fuel.
go fund, because we're 5,700 less than last year.
Right, his drop in insurance plus everything else.
Well, 5,000 is, you mean the money that's in the reserve fund?
No,
I'm saying if we were to level fund the highway department this year, because last year it was 834, 764. And this year it's 824.56. So it's about a $5,000,
829.
829. Oh, wait, no, because I dropped that 5 out of there. Now it's 824. I just took that 5 out.
So you want to put $500,000 from a different place in the budget
Where's your
into the
second
equipment account.
Because remember, I pulled it out of that, these are the gas fund.
Yeah.
I had it at.
Put that back.
There's never was in there.
Yeah, the fuel fund should stay.
I'm just saying, bottom line is we're about 10,000 less than last year.
The fuel fund should stay at 40 this year. I don't know that we have the fund balance to do a $5,000 buy down twice.
So it should stay at 40.
It should stay at 40, in my opinion.
Because prices of fuel aren't up there. When we originally did this, it's because the price of fuel was so high. The prices of fuel aren't up there anymore.
What are you paying for diesel?
That's exactly why we put the 40,000 in the
Gas is still staying.
fund balance.
It's pretty stable.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It still must be 390.
Yeah, it's been pretty stable.
They're at 33%. They spent 11.5 so far. Their on-road is 11.2, but if we're lumping it all together. And I assume you guys are gonna be running the trucks in the heat way more this time of year.
Yeah.
You know, if we're 42% through and they're 33% into their money. And I feel like in the last years,
330.
Yeah,
I feel like in the last years, you guys have been right around 40,000.
we have. It's been pretty steady. Yeah.
Well, it varies between 316 and 330 are the bills I have here.
And that doesn't, because we're a municipality, they're not charging us the highway tax, right?
Correct.
So you want to make it 40 and raise the $5,000 from the taxpayers rather than taking $5,000 out of the assigned fund balance.
So this year's budget, the budget year we're currently in, we approved them for 35. We did that, and what this note is supposed to mean, we did that with the thought being that if they did in fact run to that full 40, we could pull some money out of the fund balance because we have.
You also got to remember that with that, the gas will come out of that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Instead of, if the highway budget ran over, we were gonna pull
Right.
from there.
Is it?
Hopefully, we won't need to, but if we do,
Yeah.
then we knew it was there. That's what that note was all about.
Right.
So I suppose that we could, well, we can't, we don't know what you guys are gonna spend. We gotta approve this before we know.
I'm sorry, I was.
I'm sure that was an inside thought. It should have been allowed.
So your propane has gone down significantly. We used to pay about 199, we pay about 162 now. So, but I mean, we only use get about 200 gallons, I guess, a month, so.
But to your point, Linda, if there's 17,000 in the fund balance, we can throw the dice twice.
You can.
Which would leave, circling all the way back, it would mean that we would have $10,000 lower than last year's budget. So if we were to add 10,000 to the equipment fund, and then that would be a payment towards the ton truck, a repayment towards the ton truck.
And then we just level fund. Okay, so just for certainty, am I keeping it at 35 then, the gas and oil?
I think the proposal on the table right now, not that anything gets approved tonight, is yes, we're gonna cut your fuel tank down to 35. There's a fund balance, we'll figure it out. It's our job, not yours.
And then I'm just putting a note that we're adding 10K to the equipment fund,
Yes.
so
and it
that
goes
it's
from
level funded.
the 120 to the 130. And Melinda does QuickBooks magic.
I'll
But
try.
equipment fund, does it come out of this? Does come out of this, okay.
Yeah. And you have a balance that going forward on your equipment.
Which is,
Well. Well,
yeah, it changes on.
you're gonna have about 30 grand left
Yeah.
after it comes out. See, I don't know when we're gonna start paying for the new trucks, new loan. We are paying on the new truck now, it's coming out. But I don't know what the additive will be.
So you're projecting at the end of this fiscal year, our equipment budget will be overfunded by 30 for our current liabilities. Sweet.
Going forward.
That sounds like money in the right direction.
Well, there is every year, but,
Yeah.
but you need a
We-
lot.
Yeah, we keep a buffer in there in case.
Yeah.
And then bringing it back, I don't know if, when is a good time to talk about, when should Dylan be ordering his next vehicle?
It's sooner.
Not during the budget hearing.
Gonna wait.
I did just talk to Ricky. Ricky's getting 15 years out of the trucks.
Yeah.
You're running for a truck and a boss.
He told me he got an Everest plow, an MG, does that make sense? MG body, and that one was a Freightliner.
Yep.
The oldest one is an 18 speed, I'm assuming Eaton, but I don't know.
Mhm.
The newest one, I think he said was,
The MG bodies are good, but I don't know where you get them now. I think you have to go to New Hampshire to get them.
yeah, they just sandblasted and rebuilt theirs.
Right.
And I don't know if the bed chains are set up different, but he said on the oldest one, he's purchased one bed chain for it.
Mhm. I go through a bed chain every year.
Yeah, I know.
Something happens.
And if he doesn't use a lot of salt, then those trucks aren't getting a lot of salt, are they?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the salt so much that's killing them, really.
Sand's worse. So
It is?
I think it is. It's more abrasive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know, like Hyde Park is what, 6 or 7 years for their replacement.
Yeah.
I don't know what Morrisville is, but I just looking at the cost of these, and I'm hoping that we can make this new ton truck spread in 10 years. I'd like to see a tandem do the same thing.
What we've been doing.
Well, and like with yours, my memory of the equipment schedule was yours needed to be an 11-year-old truck before it was replaced.
I think we were supposed to, the conversation that I remember, I was supposed to order my truck in July, when Joey's was supposed to show up this year in July. When that showed up, I was supposed to order mine to take delivery of it in 2027.
Yeah, and then I think when I looked at the equipment schedule again, we had another conversation here that said that the 23 wasn't gonna be paid off in time.
Right, I don't.
Sounds like Linda's,
Like I've said for a long time, the trucks themselves are good, the chassis are fine.
29.
It's the bodies that wear out, the bodies and plow gear wear out.
so when the 23's payment drops is when we should have the funds to replace yours paid off in
Well, that's
29.
not 2030.
Right, which makes his 18 truck.
But there's something going on from 2029. Is it the loader?
27, the excavator goes out.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's the next one is 2029 because there's nothing in 2028.
Yeah, but I don't know that we should use excavator money to pay for a truck. If we're gonna do these trucks and do them on a regular basis,
Well, the excavator money's only 18 grand anyway.
still. If we're gonna try and do these trucks on a regular basis, then we should have a truck loan on 2 at a time, if we can. If we make one last long enough. And that's why I'm saying year 18.
Mhm.
Year 18 needed to be replaced in 29, so take delivery in 29, that means ordering in 27, right?
Yes, wow, yeah, that's.
It depends, because origins getting tricky now, because if you can get you get the body, I mean, you get the truck and then you don't get the body for maybe a year later. You know, you don't get it outfitted and you still have to carry that loan. And so Bill and I were talking about maybe buying it already, like more and more. Charlie Boys is talking about doing prefab buildings and stuff. So
Well, and I remember when he presented this new one that's coming, there was two options and they were like 15 or 20 grand apart. To buy one that was just built, go get it, or to order one. And honestly,
To order that one now, that was because we ordered it some time ago. To order the same thing now, it's probably $300.
no, I'm just saying as far as ordering one and paying like the hoops that honestly, Michelle has had to jump through dealing with ordering the truck, then you couldn't get the transmission, and then it had to sit at Viking, and now we've got to have a loan to pay for this one, but we're gonna have to refinance the loan when the whole package is.
Mhm.
I feel foolish now, that 20 grand difference between buying the ready-made one out of New Hampshire. We should have just paid the money and had a truck that they handed us the keys to when you guys put salt in and started driving.
Mhm.
So when you go to do your other one, I'm hoping that you'll be able to present a package that is.
Yeah, in 2 years, that could be a more readily available cost.
although like Dylan was saying that Craftsbury did the ready-made and it was like too long to fit in there.
Yeah, they don't like.
You don't get everything that you want.
It's because it's a one size fits all type of thing, so it's a good deal if you need a truck, you need one right now, but you don't get to pick out all the individual spec.
Yeah, okay.
So there's pros and cons.
It doesn't fit in your garage.
It, not well. Yes, well,
That's horrible.
So you're gonna, you have to open the door.
right.
So anyway, just thinking, and I think that we can spend some time on that, for schedule and try to figure that out. My understanding of it is we don't have truck one until 29.
So it's
Yeah,
right up there.
yeah.
It's not the,
Perkins, Reno, and chain.
I didn't know Reno went there.
Yeah. Just,
Full time.
yeah, I think.
That's what.
I don't think
It's
we'll
not
talk
gonna
about
street.
buying a truck when we're spending money on the project. It's all-
At that time, it's a not, but.
Not very-
Maybe on weekends.
Yeah.
How you spend all the money that you stop and all. My budget.
They put extra in their last couple of years, just in case on a bunch of them.
I think healthcare. You have two people, three people, care, and it's like monumental.
Yeah, that's wicked cool unless there's
But
trouble.
you never know when it'll change.
I know. I don't think healthcare will ever go down.
Not as long as we have Obamacare, no offense, but.
It's just like taxes, it never goes down.
And more insurance companies are pulling out of Vermont, so. There's not much choice,
What is it, MVP, Blue Cross?
pretty much, that's it. And Universal or whatever, Cigna, if you have a huge, you know, a lot of employees.
No loss of Medicare Advantage plans that are going away because they're too expensive to maintain.
Are you ready to present, Melinda?
I am.
Have a good night, guys.
I think we've talking.
Yeah, I tried it earlier. I'll get a hold of it.
Thanks. So I gave you my budget to actual, just to show you where we're at. And as you know, from last year, the new system is 22 hours. I averaged it out based on, because of elections and around tax time, they would probably be more than 20 hours a week. So I averaged it at 22 hours per week. And then I went down to the next one is health insurance. That went down because it's just going to be myself. I'll no longer have a child on my insurance. Yay. So mileage stays the same. As you can see, it's in good shape as it is. So. Notices, newspaper notices, my goodness, they have gone up in price a lot. I've done like 3 notices and I'm already over budget. Of my $200, so I doubled that. Office supplies, paper has gone up a little bit and we're using more paper, I guess you could say, departments are and stuff. So I went up a little bit, $800. I try to slim it down a little bit, but there's, profile now, you have to buy your own books, so I had to put in 2 books in there, and that's around $400. For each year, you know, if you fill more books for recording. And that's not, it is part of the land records, program, but I didn't figure it's an IT thing, because it's a physical supply. With the, paper and stuff. I did go up on postage, because as you know, stamps have gone up now to 78 cents. And then telephone, I'm not sure about this amount, I just put it in. Because, we're doing a whole deal with the town with Fidium. And I don't know if we're gonna move all of ours over to IT, or if we're gonna leave them individually into each department for this. So I just left it in there, so I'm not sure about that one. The training would be the same at 500. I've only done 1 training this year. I'm waiting until after Nikki's 90 days to sign her up to do more training. And then the town clerk treasurer, I just put the 3% raise in there. The text.gov is what we paid 1,800 this year, it's 1,800 next year, we've already got the invoice for it. They invoiced us early, but they're gonna resend it in July for the new budget. So, any questions? We went down,
Copier supplies moved to,
Canon is under IT. It's all included in the lease. The supplies for the Canon. It's part of the $80.
remind me where the tax bills went.
The tax bills went into my office supplies.
Okay. And what about your new payroll program?
So that's also in the IT under tax tables. That's where ABP will come out. Because I need to buy tax tables anymore. If we want to move it back into my budget, that's absolutely fine.
So it's gonna show up in the IT budget?
Yes, yeah.
Well, we haven't had it before, have we?
Oh, no, the new one, no. The tab.
The tax tables is under IT. What I pay for QuickBooks and for the tax tables per year were in there.
So that will just replace that?
Yes.
Okay, just so I
Yep.
have it clear.
Yeah, it should be around the same amount. I estimated it out. I think it's like $50 more, something like that.
Okay,
And I won't be buying as many checks. Cause we won't be using as many checks. I mean, if everybody signs up. I'm sorry, Kurt. Yeah.
I got 2.
So it went down, about a little less than 34,000, but that's because, things are becoming streamlined and, health insurance went down. Yeah.
Good to me. Do we have questions for Melinda on that?
The only one I had was the ADP thing, and you covered it.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked at IT, it's under, IT, because I thought I should be putting ADP in here, but then I realized it's in there, so. Do you want to move on to the transfer station?
I actually do have one more question. Should Text My Gov be in IT as well?
Well, it kind of came out of budget, so I kind of like owned it, but if you want to move it over, you can.
Just curious what the,
Well, because we didn't want it. Instead that she.
I wanted it.
That's how it ended up in a book.
And I.
You can.
I'm glad I have it. I mean,
I'm glad you have it too. I think it's fantastic. I just, in the interest of trying to keep all tech related subscriptions together.
Right.
But
yeah, either way, but Michelle and I use it, so. And it was a great help during tax time and different times.
I think we just should start to try to, it's hard to compare the budget. when We're constantly moving things, so
Right.
let's make a decision and stick with it, where it should go.
I would love to see the budget reflect the exact same format that we get when we get the ad builds. I know we like to do this as our back of the napkin math. But when we go to put it in the town reports and when we're doing these discussions, I would love to see that entered into the budget stuff that QuickBooks has so that you can have budget and actuals and you can actually get it on the same report.
Okay, you can do that. I'll actually make and I can streamline that.
I'm gonna say, for me, because I have a simple monkey brain and I struggle to go from this line to that line.
Yep.
I would love that. I mean, the one I think.
Okay.
And how do you do that? Is it gonna be the years 24, 25, and 26? Like, would it be in some format like this? Is that what you're talking about putting in the town?
No, he wants the same categories.
Yes, and so you can do customize the reports through QuickBooks where it will show you. And there are other town reports I can, if you guys want an example of that, I can show you what those look like. I care a little bit less about the town report than I do about when we're talking about it. But
Versus your budget, yeah.
I just love the way this is laid out. And I know that you can change those columns so that instead of all of the notes and the math,
Mm-hmm,
it does it all for me.
right. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Now, transfer station, a whole different bucket. First off, I kind of told Michael and Linda what is happening in January in the state of Vermont is saying that mattresses are no longer going into landfills. They are going to have to be recycled. So since we're such a small operation and we'd have to have a separate container or dumpster for them, and it'd be sitting around open, I don't know how long, with when it fills up with just box springs, day beds, and mattresses. I'm proposing, as someone who deals with the transfer station, that maybe we eliminate that. I talked to Joyce at the solid waste district. They're eliminating it at all of their facilities except Johnson and Stowe. And those would be the only places to take them, and they will cost $45 to get rid of per mattress or box spring. So the prices we have here don't reflect anywhere near that. And I don't think my guys can handle this. I'll be honest.
It's all metal, they come as well.
But they haven't got back to me. So I called Rob, but he hasn't got back to me. I would like to be able to have the guys refer them to take them to somewhere else. I will tell them to take them to Johnson and Stowe. Casella is making this mandatory before the state of Vermont, so they're starting now. So this last haul we just did with our bulk had mattresses and stuff. They're not going to charge us, but anything going forward they will. So I have to make sure I talk to my guys before Saturday and let them know, do not take any of this. And if it goes in bulk, we have to haul it out, put it somewhere else. So we don't want to do that. And
Sounds like bulk day, if you want new mattresses, you almost need another container for stuff that's gotta get recycled.
because they're gonna have to send it out of state. Casella is down in Massachusetts and they break it apart. So that's why they're charging us $45 plus the haul. And I'm like, the haul's only gonna be like $290, and they're like, yes, but I mean, that's still a lot. We would have to charge a lot more for the mattresses and they cover that hole. And where am I gonna put the dumpster? Let's be honest. It's just no room. So I kind of need a motion from the select board to eliminate this off our fees and say we're not going to take them anymore. I did communicate with the state, and because it is gonna be a state law, they are gonna let you amend your transfer station list of what you take, because it is a change.
I'm sad, but I'll make a motion that we discontinue accepting mattresses and box springs at the Wolcott transfer station beginning December
Today.
5th to.
I'll second.
We want any more conversation with this?
Just a quick question. So one of the reasons, as I understand it, they're not taking mattresses is because of the fabric and the stuffing, the fillings and all of the same things that go in sofas. Did they outlaw sofas as well?
That's
Only sofas that have beds in them. So we'll just have to make sure that there's no beds. So they're gonna have to ask them if they're sleepers. If they're sleepers, we can't take them. But regular ones we can take. Regular sofas, upholstered chairs. Yep. According to Kelton, yep.
And then when both day
Is it
comes
because there's
around,
metal in it?
It has to do, they're floaters. Apparently chairs and sofas will go down into the landfill. But mattresses don't, and they get this that's like algae or this growth on them that makes them kind of like hazardous material. Mattresses don't, they float. This is how he explained it to me. I have to tell you, I've never heard of a mattress floating, but you
in other
know.
words, what they're saying is if they wanted to actually compact landfill properly.
Yeah.
They need a big shredder to shred everything, so it goes in properly.
And apparently these other things break down, but mattresses don't as fast. Maybe it's all the foam. I have no idea.
Any more questions or comments?
That we're probably, when it comes time for green up day, they're gonna have to find you a dumpster for that.
Oh, I hope we don't find any.
So all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Aye.
Thank you.
So on to the important thing, which is the proposed budget. As you can see, it's gone up significantly, but that is mostly the moving charge. A little bit of labor with the basically the raises. Most of everything stayed the same. Tires, we've not been getting as many tires, I think because of our prices, which is good. So I lowered that a little bit. Everything pretty much stayed the same. I down green up expense because we did not spend that amount. We only spent up to 1,000. So if you look at the what we spent last year, I based it off that. And we made 110,000. So I think we can do the 97. If you look at the income, I've increased the income, but also the interest. We're going to be getting a lot more interest on these CDs we have. I'm rolling them over and trying to get up as much up to 4% as I can. Right now, they're about 3.5, a little more. So that's going to generate about $800 a year. If I do them every 6 months, and I have two $10,000 ones. And then I put $19 in for basically the interest from the checking account.
So same, I didn't review I was distracted with the highway budget, so I didn't go through yours as quickly, but looking at it. Take for example, compost.
Yeah,
Our receipts were 611. Our proposed budget for compost is 2,000. Last year's expenditures were 2,400.
well, so if you look at compost, we spent 2393 last year. I'm proposing about 2,000 this year. We only take in about 611 or whatever.
Mhm.
I would really like to go up to $2 for eventually for a 5 gallon. I don't think anybody's gonna quibble over $1. But I could be wrong,
Isn't that, what's everyone else charge for?
$1. But Joyce did tell me they are looking at that, but they won't change theirs until around April. So I think we'll just leave it as it is right now and look at it. But compost is an expense to us.
So what are we making the money on?
Garbage.
So garbage is offsetting compost.
Yep,
We have how are we doing with our ending balance?
good.
I mean, do we still have, I know this is a slow time of
So
year.
we have the 2 CDs with 20,000 and my checkbook has 18. And yes, it was a little, this one was a little less this last weekend, but that's.
Slow.
It's also because the fellow kind of messed up and I called them and I had a very frank talk with them and Kelton assured me that this would be taken care of because I was not happy that they took the half empty bowl instead of the cupboard. But the guys, they made an executive decision without me, thank God, because I was in Connecticut and they decided to use the bulk. They thought I was gonna rip them a new one and I did not. I was like, no, you made the right decision. Well, it's either closed, Basil said. I said, no, you do not close. But they did have to close early on Sunday and I was there when they closed at 12:15. I only had one angry person swear at me when I closed the gate, but I put up a sign that said, transfer station is closed because bins are full, so. And I didn't get anything from Facebook, so that's good.
I mean, like I said, I know it all comes out in the wash mostly. I'm just looking at all of the individual line items
Right.
and they're just
Yeah.
things
I know.
that don't line up. But so even though the budget's jumping $11,000, you think prices aside from compost, you think we can cover it?
I think the bulk I won't have to send every 2 weeks if we don't put any mattresses in it. I'll have to send it every 3 weeks. So there's a 290, haul that, I might only have to do one a month instead of 2 a month. So there's a $290 difference. I think, and that would be monthly. And so I think that we can make this work. The hauling fees is but when I negotiated the 290, I felt that was good, so.
Okay.
And I think we just need a year to see.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to revisit this come June,
Yeah,
because that's a lot of money. I know you should have some reserves, but
I know.
I think we need to look at that.
And that and
Give it to the end of the year.
that and if everyone else raises their compost price, we should raise ours about the same time.
That's why I called Joyce and asked her about the district surcharge, because I needed to know about, and they're staying the same. They don't know of anything different, so. And they are losing some money on their facilities, but then Johnson and Stowe are making up for some of them, But we don't have that luxury, so we have to. And we're a small operation, but as long as we operate in the black.
And seems like we're doing well. You've got money in the checkbook, you've got savings. So,
And we've taken over Green Up, so that was one of the, and we don't charge the town for taking the trash. I think that's,
I
getting
do,
rid of the trash is.
I asked this question once, I think last year, and I don't remember the answer. Is the is an entity like the transfer station, that's enterprise accounting, is that how that's said?
Yeah,
Could something like that make a contribution to the town in the name of, and I'm just throwing things out here, but athletic, rec department, force? Could they theoretically sponsor something like that? Is that legally possible?
You mean like uniforms? The Wolcott transfer station?
I'm just saying, if the transfer station.
I was just thinking that.
No, I know that our contributions towards recreational and extracurricular activities, those requests are going up. Trying to find ways that the transfer station could become,
right.
yeah, printed on t-shirts for kids to run around. That's,
The forest.
That was
might be
honestly
a good
good
one, our trails and
Probably
stuff.
be better.
you know, they want $5,000 for mowing, and I'm pulling my hair out wondering where we're gonna find that. If the transfer station could make just a theory, just a but not fully formed thought. If the transfer station were legally able to contribute back to the town budget in some way for these.
You know, in June, when you can do a fund balance or move money around. I mean, this is a business account, basically. It makes its own money, it pays its own bills. It can also do donations and stuff. It acts like, you know, I know there's a board that runs it, but basically it's not taxpayers' money.
Right.
It is its own entity, so.
It wouldn't be any different than a business owner walking in with a check and saying, I'd like to,
Exactly.
whatever. Okay. It's legally possible.
Yes.
And I just want to make a little cautionary statement. While I'm not opposed to that, I am starting to get nervous that we're charging too much money for dumping garbage,
Mhm.
you know, that's why I want to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think we have to wait to see how the numbers.
I think we need to look at it a little closer.
Okay, is it, how much, it's like, is
You
it
think
more recycling volume?
We are charging more than the district for the garbage. We're charging $1 more for a bag.
Because we were in trouble, but now we're
Right.
not in trouble. Why
Right.
why are we charging taxpayers or people to use it when we don't need it? That's all.
Oh, okay. Oh, I
No,
see.
I'm just-
No.
Is it competitive price wise with other stations?
With all metals it is. It's about the same. The district is $1 less. A 15-gallon bag is $3 or $3.50, one or the other. But we didn't want to get into 50-cent stuff. And they only charge $7 for contractors. I think they charge $5.50 for a 30-gallon.
So if you reduce it too much, are you gonna get other people coming here and like
No,
increase the
We
volume?
need them. We need
We get
them.
Craftsbury and Elmore sometimes.
We have, but
I know,
probably
I've had
more
checks
people
in-
from other towns
Same
than
here.
Wolcott.
I've got checks from Worcester.
Yeah, we want people. We need people. We need a lot of people.
And because we don't take construction debris, we don't get, you know, we
The
get household
contractors.
stuff,
Yeah,
but we don't get the bulk stuff, which we said, you know, people still try to slip it in. But we're a little more diligent.
As I recall, is recycling more volume than trash sometimes?
Yes, the recycling, and that was the other thing is they gave us a box with smaller openings. And so I have Basil moving, recycling constantly. He's out there with his rake.
he
Yeah.
does a good job though.
He does,
He's a good employee.
yes.
Whenever I'm there, he's helpful.
Yeah, they both work well together and that's good and I have to say Basil is the one that said to Sylvia, we are closing now. I cannot get anything more there. And he goes, we can't go over the sides of the bowl. So it ended up that, you know, they do work well together and listen to each other.
I guess the question I have, you've got washer and dryers, you're charging $10 a piece? You can take them to all metals for nothing.
Mhm. We don't want them.
Cause we don't have do we still have a dedicated metal bin?
We do, and we make, we just got $92, but it's hard getting it over into that, you know what I'm saying?
The gate,
Yeah,
chain.
so I don't want anybody falling, I would rather deter large, we take a lot of dishwashers, I see a lot of dishwashers in there, but, huge ones, we really don't want because it's a hazard. And I don't want Basil getting hurt either. And most of the time they need his help. If one lonely woman comes up.
We're allowed to leave them not in a bin for all too.
Yep.
Okay, I had asked Michelle to just give you a draft of where we stood with the select board budget.
If anybody needs them, I can, but I emailed them out.
Yeah, so it's just so that you can see what everyone's presented so far. I wanted you to have an opportunity to think about some of these things before our meeting. And one of the things that I have been thinking about that I would like you also to think about is mowing. In terms of our new buyout properties, you know, think about what you'd like to happen with them. Would you like them just to get overgrown and grow up? Do you think you should mow any? Do you just thoughts? I don't want any answers tonight, but if you could think about these properties.
Brush hogging wouldn't be a bad idea.
So that when we have our budget, you know, if it needs to be incorporated into our mowing budget or something like that.
Yeah, that contract is up this year, but I called, to see what they would project, what the rates would be. Spalding, thank you. Just, I know we have to put it out to bid, but it's gotta go up this year.
So just, I know you don't want answers, but I have been waiting for the mowing conversation to come up. So there is a neighbor on, he's on Baldwin Brook, who owns a little mowing business, and last year caught me mowing the little path at the old ball field. And I don't know if the offer still stands, but he wanted me to bring it to the board for this year. He said that he may be willing to volunteer his time and equipment to mow that back to a field if he thought that the rec department might support having, softball or baseball, whatever, back there. So I think that there is some interest in seeing more than the minimal mowing that I was doing and then the annual brush hogging.
He didn't want to use this
We
one.
actually,
This one at the time wasn't done, and he's Baldwin Brook, he don't drive all the way down here.
so for years it was used for softball, but then softball is like a dying sport. So we decided to just brush hog it to keep it open, but somebody's gotta come forward and say they wanna do something with it.
Or if we give make it a multi-sport field out of it.
Right.
Which I can see that in the future. So then it would be worth keeping it more maintained if there's multi-sport.
Is the correct department to send him to the rec department, not the athletic? If he has.
Athletic seems to do children's softball.
Stewart is more into the adults.
But they're just they just have one thing they do is softball, baseball, for kids. Not even adults.
Could that be soccer field? Is it big enough?
And Stewart is supposed to be. When I saw him at the concert the other night, he they were talking about, they were planning snowshoeing through the forest in the winter and skiing up in there and stuff, so they're the ones that are.
I could see that one, that field in North Wolcott, it's like a soccer field wouldn't be a bad idea, because looking up all the other sports that.
Just the open flat green spaces, yeah.
But I wanted you to have an opportunity to think about, some of these things. Ahead of time. Not a lengthy discussion.
Yeah. More like Streck, you're talking about maybe Gibbs and Westover?
Well, Strex is kind of already semi,
Yeah.
but you know, Gibbs, you talked about someone wanted to do some grazing or something.
Yeah, I was trying to create a rotating grazing thing, but I haven't gotten a whole lot of buy-in from anybody.
Cause Woods is all
No,
bank,
Woods is got guardrails, it's not.
and then Richardson, there's not much left there. is there?
Well, there's somebody's trailer there, but.
I'd like to see,
On their land, who's,
Neighbors.
David Palmer? Goodness.
No, not a mobile home trailer, a tow behind 18-foot car trailer.
On that main property?
Yeah. It's down below. He's the parking lot that,
Became bigger.
that somehow grew. Mysteriously grew. There's a bunch of cars there in various states of disrepair. And then there's an 18-foot car trailer that's down low. The deck of the trailer is just below the parking lot.
There's an access.
Had to go in the old driveway and back it in that way.
Oh, I haven't been out through there. I'll have to go.
It's like we need a gate there, so it's locked, and I'll get in there.
Guardrails up there.
no, the North Wolcott Road ones, I was just thinking about Gibbs and, and over here. Do we want-
Oh,
Sorry, do we wanna mow like along the river or mow a path to the rail trail
Yeah.
when these guys are done?
and I'd like to see this rail trail where those pots are and stuff. It gets really high, so at least brush hog the ones. So that it opens up that little drive all the way back.
You mean clear side of the road for snow removal? And then line of sight?
So the contract is up this year. Does that mean that we, after budget sessions, should we evaluate, I guess your question, are we evaluating what's on the contract and what we want to do with it? Because it sounds like we have enough now where we might be wanting to separate brush hogging from mowing, which I know brush hogging was an annual addition.
We have to do that at the transfer station
Yeah.
annually, and that was the,
And that's in there. And that's what he charges us, where is the brush? Geez, where did I put it?
well, we might, because there's enough, you know, the forest, like.
Oh, the mowing,
800 plus the big field up there, across the bridge.
And this year didn't hit anything up at brush hogging, so that was good. We didn't have to repair anything.
Is there brush hogging in the transfer station?
Yeah, $800.
Okay.
I increased the standard mowing that we normally do with the brush hogging here to $300, because that's kind of what he told me, that it would go $3,800 for the next 3-year contract if he got it. And then brush hogging it for the rail trail is another $100 an acre.
We'll have to think about adding some more if we decide to do any more.
Yeah, and then we'll just do it on RFP once we're
Yeah.
done.
And that money,
It's under miscellaneous.
yeah, but that does this office and what other town properties are regularly mowed?
Ball fields,
Okay,
both ball fields,
well, that one hasn't been regularly mowed since they did
No, we made it, we made it brush hogging because no one was using it.
okay, then you would know what's in there. Kurt did the last contract, so.
Yeah. Well, and I think the last couple of years it has been under construction, so,
Yeah,
okay. So that money
You can
anyway.
see how much we spent under miscellaneous for mowing, and then he does some in the spring and he does fall, winter
Yeah.
cleanup or something, and he charges, it's in there.
There's another $50 because I had him weed whack or brush hog just to get to those pots.
Yeah, I think it's under miscellaneous.
It would be interesting to see if anyone's interested in actually permanent. Using that other field in the summer, if there's interest in it,
Yeah.
before our budget, if
I
there's
would
someone
love
would.
to have somebody.
If there's someone else wanna do something with it, like soccer or something else, that'd be nice.
He's never gone over budget. I think it was 3,600 for the last 3
Maybe
years.
stay with it.
Yeah, and the
That's
number that you just spent was 29 something, so. There'll be room for the couple of mowings this spring.
So do you guys want me to ask Stuart and Flynn, if Flynn? If
No, not Flynn.
just Stuart?
Plans for North Wolcott. And well, I guess all of them, right? Would Westover fall under his purview until something more permanent happens?
There's nothing he can really do there.
Short of a nature walk at this point.
Well, it's gonna, till September, it's booked,
Oh, there you go.
pretty much, other than that, we could do a trail, but we've rented it out to CCS.
Probably best not to have a trail turning. Construction nerd.
But if we wanted to maintain, so you can see when you come in and he put a tape around where his area is that he can park his vehicles, but
Most of the time.
we
they're
don't
on
want
the
things to
road.
get too overgrown. I mean, there's so many ticks if we want to make a little path to the rail trail or a path around the river.
Yeah.
That's all.
I've enjoyed the time doing it up in North Wolcott, so if that's something you guys are interested in, I would do this one. I like mowing. There's something wrong with me, but I like it.
Do you have a zero turn or something?
No, I've got a 30 horse tractor and a 6-foot finish mower that
Oh, I can see why then.
I.
Boys and their toys.
Any excuse to be on the tractor.
You don't have enough lawn at home?
It's bigger every year.
So are you ready?
I am. We're done with budget. Thanks, Commander. I am still looking for someone to install the library, snow roof guard. Snow guard. Jamie Marcia is too busy. I've been in touch with him since he put on the roof and he's just like, he's blowing it off. And I just finally said, do you think we have time? He said, no. So, I contacted, Alpine Snow Guard sent me a list of contractors, so I'm just gonna be going down the list. Because it's too minimal, because Jamie said that he thought about $1,200 to both install it and buy it. And so it's really not, I don't think I need to put it out to bid, it would be a lot. to put it out to bid. So I'm going down the list. I sent out the RFP for the request for qualifications for maintenance contractors. Last week, that's due December 12th. We've had one applicant so far. I attended the New Jersey transportation program. It was, I don't know how I got it. I was the only one outside of New Jersey sitting on in the training, but it was the basics of strategic communications planning. It was a webinar. It was really interesting. It's learning how to communicate effectively with the public and keep them in the loop when you're doing anything, basically by creating the communication plan. I think it was real interesting, and I can share with you either the webinar once we get it, or something else, but it wasn't rocket science, but yeah, he had some good points. Town hall, I contacted MSI and I got to convince them to pay for the installing the light fixture in front of Cares. So they'll pay for it. So Harding Electric will install it and MSI will pay for that every month. And then I was looking at all the polls. I think then we're caught up with the lights, as long as the light bulbs and fixtures. I'll contact Harding Electric whenever the light bulbs are out. so that the light, that road will be better lit when we're using the town hall, which will be quite a bit more often. The columns were installed. Thanks, Michael. They're beautiful. Michael said he's gonna paint them in spring, or are we painting?
I hadn't planned on painting them, but I absolutely can.
Okay, someone will paint
Are you
it.
putting trim around the top of it?
No, I wasn't. The new ones didn't come with it.
But can you see through, or is it just because it needs to be
It
painted?
needs to be painted.
Oh, okay.
Because of the weather, I didn't do any caulking or anything, so.
They
Please.
do look nice though.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't believe those fiberglass ones.
Yeah.
They are pretty. I'll put a reminder in my schedule as well, but if you wouldn't mind putting me on your list of people to yell at as soon as the weather warms up, remind me that I said today that I would caulk and paint those.
Okay.
It's recorded on YouTube.
Oh, fantastic. Forever immortalized.
Be a lot sturdier too, I think.
Yeah, I wish that I had taken pictures of what they sent in the box.
Oh,
I cannot believe that those are rated at 14,000 pounds. Also,
What you pulled down though, I can't believe those were the.
so the other piece of that too is the one that wasn't damaged, the entire bottom of that was rotten. So I kind of took a risk. That roof structure is completely supported on its own. Those columns don't need to exist. I was able to put a post in and my post was a little bit short. And I said, it'll be all right. And I knocked the old post out and the roof never came down to meet the temporary.
But I don't know with the full snow load.
Right, the column should be there. I just was surprised that the one that wasn't damaged was in such poor shape. And it must be that
It just gets splitting.
It-
It's like the gap was about this.
Well, it's disgusting there. I spent a good hour just sweeping the front of that after you did it. There is so much mud and muck around it. Of course, it's
Off the road.
rotten.
yeah.
It was just,
There is a request from the band, so WAC met today and they were hoping, you know, the quilts that the school is getting rid of? We were thinking that we might be able to, we need to create a backdrop on that stage so that it's a prettier environment when people are performing. So we were wondering, we're gonna look into maybe getting those quilts if they're gonna go nowhere, and kind of rigging them up as a backdrop because they have a piece of history and then they would be preserved at the town. These are the quilts that every school year creates and donates to the elementary school. That's just started. We just started talking about that, but there's not a lot of storage there. And there are those shelves that as you go up on the stage, there's just shelves there and they're about this wide and they're really not functional. So Bradley and I found some on Facebook Marketplace, some nice shelving units for about $100 that are about this deep that we could purchase if we could take those shelves down. I talked to Josh and he's like, well, you guys, if it's okay with the select board, we would have storage cubbies that we could put bins in and be able to actually utilize that space versus just those shelving that they just have junk because nobody can reach them. If we have permission to take that those shelves down, then we might be able to utilize.
I don't have a problem with it.
I've been in the building in months. I have no idea. Shelves.
Originally, they were for voting. You just had them, so you put your ballot there, vote, and then drop it in the box.
Yeah, these are on the other side. Those are gone. That's where our furnace is. I think they might have even have come after that somehow. The ballet might even have put them in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good plan to me, so.
Well, I think we have the money at the ballet, or we'll get a donor and some to get those if we can. I think it would be a good purchase, or just make some shelving units so we can stack them in bins and really put those uniform or the costumes
Yeah,
away in the station. Okay, cool. Another thing about WAC, in order to expand the community information page, WAC is just they were just wondering if we could start advertising all of Wolcott's community events on our page if they were vetted and appropriate. So for example, Girl Scouts, could we put the Girl Scout meetings on the calendar? Could we put like Sandywood Farms, if they're having wreath making on the calendar? I think it not only benefits the community to grow the commerce of the community, it helps to advertise, but it also gives the community a better idea of what's a one-stop shop of what's going on in the town.
yeah, I've seen that on other. Crestbury has a newsletter of events every month, but that's a lot of work to
Yeah.
put together, and then you gotta get it out. But I have seen some towns, some websites like that. You might want to go on and see how. I wouldn't like it to take over the important government business of a town, but you know, a little side thing, I have no problem with it.
So as it stands now, events are both in a sort of a blurb, or you can go to the events calendar. And maybe we have community events and then select or government events and separate the two.
Yeah, because I think it's important not to get all the meetings lost, like your emails, you can't pick through what's important or not, so that they're separated. I don't have a problem, but I can ask the rest of the board.
And again, we wouldn't be posting, and people would have to send them to us. So if they didn't send, then they can't complain that it didn't get posted. But we wouldn't be posting anything that would be questionable or inappropriate.
Yeah, I would say that once it's up and running and the service works, maybe you could. And you can make it a formal paperwork process, but quick post on Front Porch Forum that says anybody that holds events in the community, because I know there was somebody up actually by you that was doing paint and sips.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing, or any kind of. Yeah,
And
I
if you
think.
don't read Front Porch Forum every day, you kind of miss it. So it could, okay.
The lady that's doing crafts at the church
Okay.
on Sundays.
And I also know, and I don't recall how I did it, but I know that somehow through the town's website, I was able to subscribe to the town government calendar. So now my Google Calendar has all of the schedule. If whenever you guys are setting that up, if you did them in a different color or a different format or however that works. That way the government business isn't lost through the community event.
14 different calendars. I created a Google Calendar for WAC and we are sharing that. It's open to the public. But I will have to talk to Bradley exactly how he's doing it. Okay, so no objection?
Is there a, speaking of the town hall and even this room, are these sign out calendars, are these made public or are they still paper in a, this is all that exists for
Would you
this?
like that public,
I don't know about public necessarily, but
online, a Google?
just thinking about, so I had a question about town hall. Somebody came to me about renting the town hall.
That's me.
That's Linda.
I have the calendar at home.
And what I'm wondering is if you wanted that to be something public that just said available, unavailable, right? If I'm somebody trying to plan an event, instead of getting in touch with you, I can go on the calendar and say, I want my event on the 3rd. The building is busy the 3rd.
Well, I like to talk to them.
Okay.
Find out what they're doing, if they have alcohol. Where to empty the garbage, they have to clean. I like to give them the whole spiel.
The rental agreement.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we have so many problems with it.
Okay.
It's not that I mean, I don't mind putting on there the calendar and when it's booked and free, but I would prefer that they still had to call.
Yeah, well, and I think in order to book it, they would have to, just having that information at hand.
I don't have a problem with that.
And I recall, trying to run the classes in here, in this room, how that was such a challenge. Because the calendar only existed in this room. You didn't know whether or not the room was available until you got here. And I don't know.
Well, it was a beginning because people were just taking for granted that they could use it whenever they wanted it and
Yeah.
but I think it evolved to the point where maybe we need to make it a little more official.
I can put that one on and that would make it easier too, yeah. But I did update up through the December 9th, the new calendar, but I've been trying to put all the committees on there. 'Cause we haven't all been good about
Right.
keeping that up to date.
Yeah.
Or like the planning commission just moving their meeting from the 1st to the 8th, did they check or do you just do it?
I think I checked, but I forgot to write it down. I think it's Tori. I'm pretty sure I checked for Tori.
You gotta say, I'm on, obviously, the planning commission. I logged on to a meeting for Monday that didn't happen.
Because they moved it.
Then I apparently lost that email. I didn't get that memo. I knew that Tori had a presentation on some plan. I haven't looked at that yet, but she has a presentation on the 8th, but I didn't realize that our regular planning meeting had moved.
Sounds like we need a better communication system to change stuff so it actually matches.
I did though start a Facebook page today. I haven't set it up yet, but I got it on with using my select board. It's called Wolcott Staff, but it will be the Wolcott Town page. And once I get it set up fully, I think we can start posting the stuff regularly. If it's not fancy, I can post it. If you guys want, canvas artwork, it's not happening. So that's what I've been telling people.
It'll be nice to have another way to connect.
It'll be
Of course,
Facebook, Instagram, yeah. Okay. The highway, we require a formal vote for the 1126 email vote that was initiated by Parity to trade the currently undrivable 2016 Dodge 3500 and the plow in exchange for the mechanical services or repairs done by Tim's Diesel, which was the total of 3,480. And that was approved by Carpenter Billings and Parity and Martin. The auditors recommend that we pay the invoice and then have Tim's Diesel write us a check for it to keep it a very clear lines. And that transaction is going to be happening next Tuesday, whereby he's bringing us the check. He's picking up his check. So you'll receive a special order for it on Monday. He'll pick up his check, he'll give us a check, and then we'll give him the title. And I think the plow was picked up yesterday.
Yeah, the plow was delivered and I didn't make it home before the meeting, but I have the boxes with the radios and all the other stuff.
And the other stuff, because Dylan wanted to see if that would fit in the new truck. They are picking up the new truck on Friday.
I will collect the boxes of things and throw them in the town garage tomorrow while I work.
So I guess I just need a motion to actually sell the 2016 Dodge Ram 3500 and the plow to Tim's Diesel for $3,480.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I'm sorry we didn't get to crush it, Linda. I was really pulling for it.
Yes. So much problems. I just want to get rid of it.
Well, the good news is we don't have to drag it home yet. It's where it lives now.
Well, he convinced you that it's undrivable pretty much.
Yeah, he showed me a few, so previous repairs, and I'm not sure if it was done in-house or by other mechanics or even when it happened, but one of the things he showed me while he was pulling the radio and things out, there was a household wiring nut on the back of the ignition switch that was, somebody had to power the radio, somebody had just tapped into the ignition switch and then used a household wire nut to do that. And with the CAN bus wiring that exists on any vehicle past 2012 that runs on low voltage to run relays, you can't be doing that. And even in the older style, you can't use a household wire nut to do
Going back
automotive
to the
wiring.
future.
That wasn't the problem though, why?
It was one of the problems. That one was what he determined was causing, as you'd be going down the road, the truck would just shut off. Yeah, because the truck thought somebody turned the ignition off because that wire nut. But that didn't cause the charging or the emissions or any of the other issues. It was just one of many. When Tim had that proposal that I emailed to everybody, he said the only thing that truck is worth, he's gonna pull the motor out of it and try to sell it.
He's selling it for parts.
So.
Yeah. I will stop, once he picks it up, I'm gonna stop the insurance, but I wanted to keep the insurance on it to keep us covered until we transfer that ownership. So I'll stop the insurance on Tuesday. We successfully purchased the 550. Belinda picked up the plates yesterday. It's been added to the insurance, and Dylan's going down with Jim Parity on Friday to pick it up. Dylan contacted Gravels regarding the plow. He is going with the cheaper plow, the 9700 one, which was the 8.8 6 incher that expands to 11-foot power plow, $9,700. But he also discovered when he was talking to them that he's going to need, in addition to the plow, a $500 snow foil and $400 for 4 strobe lights. So we have up to $10,000. So we're going to put in the extra 600 from somewhere in the highway budget.
Thought that I don't have it with me. I thought the 9700 was the mild steel V plow. I thought the 10,000 was for the.
Maybe they're both.
We just.
He picked, he did not,
So my recollection was the straight blade was the most expensive one, but I. That's been wrong.
7. I don't know if I thought I brought it.
Really doesn't matter, I guess.
He went over and looked at all of them, and then they told him. So anyway, it's been ordered, and once they know, he was supposed to call them and tell them that we can get it to them Friday or Monday. I wanted to talk to you all about getting a gas fuel credit card, but Belinda has since found out that she can just get another credit card like Kurt used to have, just a Union Bank card so that they can carry it to fill up gas. I checked out the ExxonMobil and you get $10 or 10 cents off per gallon. There is an annual fee after the first year of $90, but I've been told that you could get it waived. But if the gas station in Hardwick is Gulf, and there are only like 6 Gulf, they're not as prevalent in the state of Vermont. So I think getting the Union Bank card is better all around to keep the accounts consolidated, as well as then they can go to Hardwick and get the cheaper gas more often. So I think we maybe just need approval to get that credit card. To get another
one, another brand new one?
No.
Kind, or just another
Just
one from the
another.
one we already have?
It's like what Kurt Klein had.
Second card issued the same account.
Where's the first card?
Belinda has it. She uses it for purchasing. And I don't
Yeah, a lot of things like Starlink comes off, but a lot of things, some bills you have to pay that come directly off that.
Card on file.
Oh, anything if you order
Yeah.
online.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a Union Bank credit card or a debit. It's a $5,000 limit. I don't know if it's a debit card or a Union Bank. I should have all that info. I thought.
it's a credit card, it is not a debit card, because I filled out the application to begin with.
And as far as accounting is concerned, there is no challenges. I mean, it'd be just like everything else, Dylan will hand in the fuel slips. They'll be coded and we'll see them in the reports. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we get a second card.
I'll second that motion.
And this is just for the truck.
Yeah.
Town truck.
Yeah, just fuel for the,
Just for-
gas for the town.
Right.
Because we went gas and they only have diesel.
Right. As long as that's all it's for.
It is, that's all it's for, yeah. And I asked Dylan, I'll let you guys finish.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
I asked Dylan in the meantime if he would just use his personal credit card and I'd keep the receipts and we would reimburse it until we get his card.
By the time he's able to drive the truck, we should have the new card anyway.
Well, he's gotta drive it back,
That's true.
so.
If they didn't sell it with a full tank,
Linda can't give him hers? Oh, he can't sign it.
Well, yeah, so this will be in his name. This
Yeah,
card will be in his name, and if the other guy's
Yeah.
names, it's just a tap in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we had a request from the labor union to pay a new employee who joined the union I sent this an email out, well, today. It's been evolving. So the employee is asking, contacted Larry and is asking for the call-in hours. So the union contract guarantees call-in hours at 4 hours. So if you call back, you get a minimum of 4 hours, whether you work an hour at 4 hours. Our personnel contract per policy says you can get 3 hours. But the union increased it this last contract negotiation. And we did not change the personnel policy to reflect that. And I don't know that it should be changed, but anyway. The new employee is asking that from September 1st, which was the date of the end of his probationary period, to be able to get a 4 hour call-in time, because on the last couple of pay periods, Glenn and I reduced it from 4 hours plus the overtime down to 3 hours plus the overtime, the time and a half, if it was overtime. And per Larry, who is the contract rep, the union rep, I'm sorry. Larry says, and I verified it with anything that I could find online, Larry says that in the public sector, unions all in the public sector, all union workers are covered, or all workers are covered by the collective bargaining agreement, whether they are members of the union or not. And this means that this employee completed his probationary period and he was covered by the road crews CBA, which supersedes the town's personnel policy. I did email BLCT for clarification, but every online search that I could find says that that's the case, that whether he's part of the union or not, it doesn't matter, that because we have a union, they represent him. I also went online and could not find anywhere that you have to have 3 employees. There's a minimum number of employees you have to start a union, but I could not find anywhere in Vermont state statutes or anywhere about Vermont that says you have to have 3 employees to keep it going.
so I did a little digging myself as well, and I have no official information, but what I was told from a couple of different people who have been in different unions, that CBA coverage, you don't have to join the union to be covered by the CBA, but you do need to pay dues. Which was complicated and didn't make any sense to me.
Which you pay dues too if you don't join the union.
You would pay them too. So like state of Vermont, you could be in the union or not be in the union, but you had to pay either way. And you got all the same coverages. When you joined the union, your coverages were expanded. You got a little bit more out of them, but you still had to pay some amount of dues. State of Vermont's union is not the local 668, so I'm not saying that they're the same, but
You must have had a union where you worked. How did that work?
You had to join no matter what.
But you were required to join.
And you paid the fees. So I get what Mike's saying. If Jim's not paying the fees, why should he?
I said that that was my response to Larry, and Larry said that it doesn't matter, and that's what I could verify online. When I went online, I found that exact statement pretty much, that if your company or your municipality has a collective bargaining agreement, whether anybody is members of the union or not, they are covered by that agreement.
well, how far does that extend? Are you union, are you
Yeah, that's what
protected
I
at
was
this point?
thinking, Belinda.
No, because it's just based on the minutes, and this is how, then I went back to, Michael and I have gone back and forth about the road foreman. And it is in the minutes that named Dylan as the road foreman and 3 members and their titles, and the board voted on that. And so they interpret that as the road foreman was part of the select board approved the road foreman as being part of the union.
And that's probably where the 3 minimum is also coming from, that union origination form or whatever it was called. Open the position for 3. So that's probably where that rule of 3 thing came from and why you couldn't find it anywhere online.
But I also thought that, any select board could undo what a previous select board did.
I think that you would have to have every one of your employees say that they don't want to be a member of the union to break it, since you voted it in. That was my understanding of what I read today.
Well, Michael didn't vote it in. Alan might have. Kurt didn't.
I was on them, but I declined it. I was
Right.
against it.
I don't know, but if they're here,
Yeah, and I think in most cases, yes, select boards can vote to undo, but with the unions, there are other laws. I'm not sure that we can just vote to.
I think you'd have to go to all the town employees and they would have to
Yeah.
have a consensus
Yeah,
to undo. But my thing is, if they're saying Jim's going to get that benefit, then he should be paying.
and what's the number of call-ins that? What dollar amount are we talking about?
well, he's taking them as comp time. We're still paying, but I think honestly, I don't know. I know the last time we dropped it about 4 hours.
Okay.
I would advocate that we give this to Jim, but again, then we're setting another precedent. I think,
I think right now we should leave it as is and say, well, you want to pay union dues, fine, we'll do that.
I don't think we have that leg to stand on.
Oh, that's the thing. Do you know though? Cause I would like to vote no too.
Again, based on what I read online and what Larry's saying, what I read online supports what Larry is saying. And I sent that to Michael.
Yeah.
If you want to read it.
I don't think that this is so much a choice as it is, alerting to what we are gonna have to do. I don't think, not that I don't want to pay Jim for the call-in hours, because again, I think it's gonna be small money.
Yeah,
And I
it's the
think
principle.
I worry about the principle of the thing. I have larger questions with the union in general. Which is my hesitation, I suppose. But, I don't think that it really is a choice whether or not we do or we don't pay him. I think we're gonna have to. Especially if he is truly covered by the CBA. In my mind, what's fair and what's right is we'll pay you the call-in hours, you contribute the back dues. That just sounds fair to me. It doesn't benefit us in any way.
No, but I'm just saying, if he really wants the coverage, he should be paying the dues.
Yeah.
And pay the back dues since he started.
That's just.
I just wonder why he didn't complain about it before.
Like the same thing with Joey, they did. it.
Right, so what happened?
That's
I would
what
like to know, what is going on? What happened?
I asked Michael the same, because I feel like when I go over there, it's a friendly environment, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not in the know. I don't know what we go through spells, I feel like, where there's animosity is too strong a word, but
Mhm.
where there's distrust. Right, there was that letter about payroll that we got a while, last meeting
Yeah,
about the deductions, and that seems to have created a snowball where now there's
well,
distrust.
there's a lot of not good communication that's, true. There's a,
Yeah,
It, it sounds like we need something for record for future purposes now. For, if someone wants to protect the union funds, that in writing somewhere, that's somewhere in writing, if people want the benefit of the union, they gotta pay for it for future, thing written down somewhere.
well, and in that vein as well, something that I had asked Michelle is that it's a conversation we've had in this room. I can think of three different ones. The union is very clear on how, I don't know what else to call it other than disciplinary actions,
right,
on how those things are outlined,
Yeah.
how they need to happen. They're very clear on that. It is, to my knowledge, you can't have a union member be the person that is either collecting that information or doling out those write-ups, disciplinary actions, whatever it may be. So while 3 road crew members can exist and can be in the union, I'm not sure how we can expect the foreman position to be both management and in the union at the same time.
But I did bring that up and they said, because you guys voted it in, so.
Yeah,
but I don't think it was ever, so I was here, but I don't think it was ever explained to us
and all that I'm asking,
at all.
all that I'm asking for is the union rep, Larry, or some other knowledgeable party needs to explain to us as a board how that hierarchy works. And again, not because I'm concerned with disciplinary actions and I want to this, that, or the other thing, but many times we have been in this room and we have wanted to talk about how things are working in the highway department, and we've been left with this very same question: how does this work? If someone can explain to me or us how that works,
Do you want him to call in, like we'll schedule a time in January to, at a meeting?
I'd love to see it in writing. I would love to see somebody write down how that procedure is supposed to work when when the member of management is also a union rep. Is also a union member. I think that we need to have a
Basically have
policy.
to have a representative, and they're gonna have to tell us who that is. Once we know that representative, they have to tell us who's doing what wrong.
But
They
therein,
have to, but.
but therein is the conflict, right?
That's the conflict.
If they're union members, then they're not going to be the ones drafting
Well, they have to be.
But
That's the thing, you have to have a shop steward. The shop steward is the one that's going to go and say, okay, you're the one with the problem. He has to then come to us and say, this is what the problem is. and it gets written up. No one has said who's this, Chan was and he left.
Chan was, so my understanding of this, my understanding of the steward position was to negotiate between the workers and the union. That would be, he was the liaison between the union and the employees. We as a employer, we need to have somebody that brings us.
Right, but that's what that's, if it's Joey, then it's gonna be Joey coming in and saying, this is what's going on.
So in the before times when Chan was the steward, Chan was the one who was responsible for doing write-ups and was responsible for,
Coming and telling us what's going
No,
on.
there were no write-ups. The only thing is I know when we wanted to write Chana. And I talked to Larry on the process, I had to discuss it with Dylan first, and the first step was then Dylan would have to speak to Chan.
right, and if Dylan, that puts Dylan in a management role,
Yeah,
but you can't be management and union at the same time. And that's what I'm saying. Somebody needs to write that down and there needs to be a procedure somewhere, and I don't care who comes up with it, but there needs to be something. That this is how we're gonna deal with it, and everybody has to read it, understand it, and acknowledge that this is the way we're gonna proceed. Because there are a lot of these questions and things that go back and forth, and we put a lot of responsibility on Dylan to manage the schedule and plan the projects and deal with the budget and, the equipment maintenance, and we put a lot of pressure on him. That needs to be defined, and if,
Or maybe add it, like a road commissioner.
and in my opinion, if we are gonna carry on the way that we're carrying on, then we as a board need to have some higher level of management that oversees, superintendent or the position is road commissioner. That's the hole that would need to be filled in my eyes, unless somebody can outline the procedures for dealing with what we're dealing with now.
The only thing I have with Larry is he's gonna make sure it's gonna be to their benefit.
Of course, that's his job.
It's his job, where we should be saying, I still say it's gonna be Joey. He's gonna
To
have,
be the steward, yes, but
he's the one that's gonna have to basically say who's goofing up, and then it's gonna be pushed up to.
well, if it's Joey that's the steward, then why is he not receiving the foreman pay? He has all the responsibility of.
No, it's just shop steward. He doesn't get any kick up. He's just the one that's the liaison for them to us.
Okay.
That's the way it worked where I was.
Mhm.
He would just come and tell us who's screwing up, what's going on, so at least we know what's going on, so we can meet.
But again, I feel like in the roles that we defined last fall, I feel like we've put that on the foreman. On the foreman position, whoever's wearing that hat. And I really do see them as two separate things.
Back to, this person contributing the back dues, that's penalizing that person, because I can probably tell you what happened is, from what I'm hearing, is this person was trying to get a hold of Larry. And Larry's like, yeah, well, I'll get there and I'll help, I need to come there to talk to you. So there was a time delay. And so I don't think that this employee should be penalized for Larry, but I don't think we should be penalized for Larry, but I can't. I don't
5
know,
months you couldn't get here,
since September, yeah,
September.
because that's when the probationary period ended. And you have to know that I told Larry the same day that when the probationary period would be done and everything. And so Larry, it was on him to basically, which he didn't, and I knew he didn't follow through with it. But I also know that the garage, they weren't making any connection either, so.
Yeah, and so his probationary period was up in September. Larry could have made a trip prior to that. He
Should
should.
have made the trip.
He's way too unorganized, I can tell you. It was off his radar. And if they didn't contact him, there was delay. And so I don't know. I don't think he should have to contribute the back dues. But that's your guys' call. I just don't want to penalize the wrong person.
Let's say theoretically we don't this one for this one spot. But after this, we make sure there's some policy or memo. So any new person in the future, they have to.
We didn't get a response from VLCT.
I got a response saying, we'll get a response.
I just share a little experience in education, public education. Teachers were not required to join labor union, but they were covered under the CBA. So I just be a little careful about some of this stuff and talk to your lawyer before.
Well, that's what I'm going to suggest, that we need to seek more legal advice. And so we're going to table this decision until the next board meeting.
But that's what he is saying, is that you don't have to join the union, but you are covered. And that's what everything I read online is saying.
Yeah, and I believe that to be true as well. And like I said, I don't think that this is so much a choice as it is a notification that we are gonna write a check for or increase his comp time if that's how we choose to take it.
What I don't understand is what's the benefit for him joining the union then? Why would he give unless he wants the retirement? Anyway,
It's his decision.
yeah. But I don't know if he knows this extra thing, so I will definitely let him know.
That should be up to Larry.
Yeah,
It should be up to Larry. As we've proven, though, Larry's not on the ball.
Because I know every time.
well, then it should be the steward. It shouldn't be us.
No, and the steward does need to be nominated and that.
And we'd like to know from Larry who the steward is so we can deal with him.
I just would like to know who the steward
No,
is.
really, they have
And
to
did
appoint a
Larry,
steward.
like,
do have.
contact, when did the steward get appointed once Chan left? How come there
Was
was?
there a vote? Can we see the minutes?
Yeah.
He can't be changed, he can't be Jim because he's not in the union, so he can't be the steward.
Who?
Jim can't be the steward.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not in the union.
As of Monday, yeah.
He signed up as of Monday, but we got the email today.
Any comment, Richard?
You barely hear us, but
You can hear us. We can't hear.
He's working on a button, I see him.
Try holding the space bar down. Roger. Oh. Still muted, Richard.
Unmute. There we go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I really don't understand the union stuff very much, but I think we should just pay Jim Holton the extra. That, cover him for the extra.
I would be interested to know how much that truly is. I mean, because most of the call-ins turn into 6-hour routes anyway. So how much are we really missing?
for a tree, like on a Saturday or in the middle of the night, hey, can you go get this tree? So there were a number, and Jim gets them because he's close.
Right. I'm just curious what that.
I wish I had it. I could go, I mean, I'd have to go pull all the.
No.
Yeah.
Just, I wish that had been a part of the request that came through
Right.
from Larry, is there were this many and they were missed by this much.
No, Larry.
So we could just write Jim like $5.
Yeah, that's, I'm of
I can put it back on him and say, how many hours does that equate to? So.
And then fact check that. I mean, because I'm of the same mind of Richard, and as I've said twice now, I don't think we're gonna get to pick. I think he's covered by the CBA. I think that we're going to have to deal with that. And I think that we're gonna have to figure out how to make it right with this person, but to me, the bigger question is how do we as an employer manage dealing with the union? I mean, right now it's run by a union member and I just don't see how that can be.
Well, that spurred a question in my head. If you have a 4-hour minimum call-in, is the management motivated to try to get 4 hours of work in that instance?
No, it's a call-in.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
And if it's a call-in overtime, it's a call-in overtime.
And and that means it's all overtime, right? All 4 hours. Yeah. So,
So wouldn't you want to, if you have to pay him regardless, at least get something out of it
right.
regardless?
Yeah, I mean, it gets tricky when it's a tree in the middle of the night, but
Yeah, I think this employee probably gives a lot. But
Yeah, I'm talking in general.
Yep.
In general, not
As a,
picking on one.
But if only you are being called in and your manager is not and everything, maybe you could generate a list of, hey, if you're there, but,
are we able to require 4 hours of, I mean, are we able to require the 4 hours of work, the 4-hour call-in?
That it's very, I can go get the contract, but it's not specified.
I don't think it says that.
Yeah, I'm certain that we probably received some pushback on that. And again,
Nobody's gonna want to do the call-ins then.
and well, but you don't get to pick. You're on call. That's what the job is. Point being, that's a thing that we would probably get some pushback on. And if it were a thing that the board wanted to pursue, we would want to be enforcing that. And we would want to make sure that the person that we had in the position of management was enforcing that. But management, who's over there and doing the work and working with the guys, and the person who is calling in this other person and saying, I know you had 10 minutes worth of work to do standing that one sign back up at 2 a.m, but sit in the garage and twiddle your thumbs for the next 3 hours and 40 minutes. They're not going to be doing that. And we as an employer would have no recourse or ability to enforce that. Brings us back down to, say we wanted to request more or request anything really, with the union protections, we have no ability to do that. We have no recourse for disciplinary. We have no recourse for anything.
Well, and in fairness, I'm just thinking logistically, if you get caught been out on the roads all night and all day and you're trying to sleep, you get called in and then we're telling you, you have to hang out there for another 4 hours and then come back 2 hours again.
Yeah.
I think that is illegal.
It shouldn't be done. It shouldn't be done. I'm not advocating for trying to demand 4 hours of work for 4 hours of pay.
I think my biggest issue is, they said there was a tree down. Was it blocking the road completely, or could it have been left until the shift actually came on?
Well,
These are decisions that are not being made reasonably.
No, but what you do is you get a call, Belinda gets a call.
Right.
And in the middle of the night or whatever, she gets a notification. She has to then call somebody, or the sheriff gets notification. They contact whoever. And so we don't know. So you have to go out and assess it anyway.
Right, but it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense, because if it's not a completely blocked road, like with the state, they leave it until they go through with a plow.
You don't know if you get a call.
Well, you should
Does the
ask.
person that's calling know what it's doing?
Well, if you get a call from the sheriff, I don't know how that goes down, because I don't.
I mean, it should have more information, because the sheriff's going to call. Then they should be able to go back and say, okay.
Well, even if it's not complete, and again, now we're talking hypotheticals, I think we're gonna lose the thread here, but even if it wasn't blocking the roadway completely, we have a duty to put signage or cones or something out, even for a 1-lane closure, and notify emergency services and blah, 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 so that they don't send an ambulance up there at 70 and And if you're gonna send somebody and you're paying them 4 hours because of their union call-in rate anyway, ship them with a chainsaw and let them deal with it. I also, as a general rule, while I realize it has been done in the past, I'm not a huge fan of using a $300,000 piece of equipment like a skidder and trying to shove trees out of the road with our trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I can point to some repair bills on truck 23 that are direct results of using it.
Yeah.
Like a skidder.
For the wrong thing.
Driving with a broken spring for 8 months because the warranty shop couldn't get it in. 3 broken windshields, broken mirrors, broken antennas, scratches down the hood. I mean, it's a $300,000 piece of equipment. Don't drive it out through the rhubarb. But
that comes back to someone should have said something to us, so that person was penalized. That never happened.
I'm brought back to the one time when there was a call about a pothole on the North Wolcott Road, and the response was, "Oh yeah, I drive around that every time I plow." What? Who do you think's gonna fix that?
Well, back in September, I basically went to Dylan and said, "Hey, you gotta fix that pothole going onto the golf road off 15. It's huge. People are driving on the other side of the road. The potholes are getting bigger on the other side of the road. You gotta do something before winter."
Yeah.
I don't know if he got it done or not, but
It's better.
it was better, yeah, but.
Anyway, if you're gonna have a call in, then ship them with the equipment to deal with it anyway. Yeah, like I said, to me, it just feels like it's a small amount of time. Where the call-ins would be longer than the work that we actually received. You know,
We're talking about a difference of 1 hour between policy.
right.
Probably spend as much time here.
Yeah. But again, it sets a precedent on how things are going to be done. And I would, regardless of what we decide for this one issue, and I believe the ask was for an individual check, which eliminates the ability for this person to take it as comp time or whatever. I think they wanted a separate, Larry requested a separate check for the difference.
I think we'll let Jim decide how that would be handled.
Can Jim decide?
Of course, it's just payment.
Okay.
I would think, I would ask Jim how he wants to take it, and I know he's saying he wanted to take it, he wanted to get up to 2 weeks of call.
Regardless of what we decide to do there, I want to see the clarification I asked for before and also how far that CBA goes. And whether or not, because we have a laborers union, that also carries over to our listeners, our zoners and our et ceteras, because
I'm sorry, the clarification you want is about the management.
the management question, but also how far that CBA goes in terms, in addition to that. Because if our listers and our zoning admin and you for that matter are covered by that 3.5% that was negotiated by in the CBA.
Isn't that labor union itself only just to cover?
I don't know.
Don't open a can of worms. Michael.
We need to know. We need to know that. And honestly, the voters need to know that, because while we as a board may not be able to do anything for the union, I'm not sure what the voters as a whole could do.
Yeah, I'll ask both of those things, but that's a separate issue. So do we want to wrap this one up?
I won't make a motion.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't support a motion until I knew what the number was, what the number of call-ins. I don't even know the financial number. I need to know the number of instances.
I make a motion to table it till we get further information.
Seconded.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
I guess that's the follow-up. I think they need to set up, it's gonna be the shop steward over there. And let us know.
Yeah, who seconded?
I did. And not that it matters, but as a point of clarity, I am in favor of paying the employee the hour difference. I just want to know how many instances that is. You know, to make a motion that's open-ended just seems irresponsible is all.
Is that something that I can get out to, that just then we'll revisit and at the next meeting?
Yes.
Well,
It has to happen before, like, whatever, so that it can have it in this year, right? Does that matter? No, maybe not.
I could, is there a way, even if we got the information and did an email vote, just so that it fits on his next pay period?
Yeah. Okay, moving on. I think we're moving on. The fire department rescue ATV for the fire department. That's redundant. So I met with VLCT and we ran through an entire list of potential grants. Most of them I had already gone through, but the Department of Defense gives away used vehicles or they donate them. And she suggested that I look into that. So I've made a couple of calls to both look into that and to figure out exactly what we need. Jim's given me a list of what he thinks we need. And then I also wanted to bring up the idea of maybe crowdsource funding for that, just to start helping pull together the 30,000 that he thinks it's going to cost.
What do they have in their equipment fund that we give them? They have a whole equipment fund and we give them money every year. Isn't that what it's for?
Concerning, but because they would have to. Did you?
We put in, well, last year 12,000, the year before 11,000. I mean, that's their equipment reserve fund.
But this is their whole budget that's not presented there, if you want to look at it.
Oh,
They have a lot of other.
huh? Yeah, they gave us the budget. But what I need to know is how much money is in their equipment reserve fund. I mean, they're not buying, I don't know, you know?
Used to buy hammer axes and
Out of their
I
equipment.
don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what they've been buying. I couldn't tell you if they got a reserve fund or not.
we give them money every
Yeah, I
year.
know, but if they spend it
Oh,
on hoses and axes and
well, they got a lot of new stuff recently from FEMA.
I can ask, and then I just wanted to let you know that's what I was working on, and then maybe kind of, you know, she said consider crowdsourcing, because it's often successful. Last side of the MERP grants, so the solar panels are up, the batteries are up, they're gonna be fully hooked up by Friday. He has to shut off the power for a couple of hours, so we're all out of here by 2 p.m. Friday, so they're gonna finish the final hookup. I got him to explain the process, so if we have a power outage, the batteries immediately kick on. It's much like the generator's just pretty immediate. And they run until they're done, maybe 8 days, depending on, you know, how much sun they're getting in the meantime. And when they are depleted, then they automatically turn on the generator, which then charges the batteries again. And all of that is automatic. We don't do a thing, apparently. And I asked them about maintenance. They're pretty much maintenance free. So apparently it's like magic. I don't know. I don't have to think about anything. We'll see how that goes. And then I rescheduled the installation because it was scheduled for next week and Fidium has not been given us a date yet. So I called Richard Gravel and he was grateful that we rescheduled until mid-January and to allow time for the installation, and we'll just play it by ear. Continuing from there.
Is there a net metering component? Did we decide against that? I don't think net metering was in the grant.
To sell back,
Yeah.
I think we had to get, we did Hardwick.
Did we? Okay,
I think because we had to get approval from Hardwick to set this up.
that's right too. Okay, so, did his name escapes me.
Jeff,
Yes, did Jeff have any estimation what he thought we might be able to offset our power bills?
we have not really had a lot of contact. He kind of came in impatiently the other day because I was like, hey, how does this work? Because I thought they were installed. I'm like, can I take the plastic off? They don't seem to be on. So he came in and anyway, so I have to ask him that metering.
I have to say, not that it really mattered, we're gonna find out sooner or later anyway, I just was curious.
I'm pretty sure they're on that metering because I know that there was a holdup with Hardwick.
Yeah, okay.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you. I meant to ask this when Dylan was here, but we have a written agreement with the other towns, the mutual aid for plowing. For grading.
I asked him that once and I think he said no.
I think that's something we should think about doing. I mean, it's not hot to do right now, but on the list of doing, just have that spelled out.
How many instances of that are there
I
around?
think it's more goes my road.
Yeah, there's Heinz and.
We switch off. We took some for East.
Well, it's constant, it's always,
Yeah.
but I'd like to have some written things.
And then at the TAC meeting, I emailed Alan later because I was wondering if the brine facility, if like there's been any talk about sharing amongst towns, like we could share with Hardwick, if we could put up a brine facility somewhere local, maybe at gravel, kind of like rent the pit, like. I don't know what has been discussed.
Well, Hyde Park shares theirs with Cambridge, I think. They went in together with their brine.
Because we don't qualify we wouldn't be able to get a grant for our town, but if we did, like Elmore, or Craftsbury and Hardwick, one of those, and had a local, like a central facility, it would be worth starting to pursue that, but I was gonna ask TAC to do a presentation, but I don't know if it's already been done, so I didn't bring it up.
We could reach out to the road foreman in Hyde Park. I think he's the first in the area to do it.
Yeah.
And they want to find out, what's the cost savings and when they think that they'll be able to recover that. And the cost to operate that. That's all I promised.
So we did not receive any hazard mitigation grants. They were the ones for take the things out of the river. Or the North Wolcott Road.
Rescinded brick grants.
It's like the third time. Which is disappointing.
North Wolcott Road, the one by the Gulf Road, that grant.
No, by Amy Hayers.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That one, then we had a little more money for the wastewater in there in case it went over. Costs went over. Most of the money went to Washington County.
Are there concerns? I mean, I know the wastewater is fully funded, but without that, I didn't know what the total was, but without that, are there any worries?
Not at this point, it just is, you never know the unexpected. Wanted a buffer.
Yeah.
Michelle and I are meeting with Champlain Oil, Brian, tomorrow. To start negotiations, talk to him about it. hopefully to get something on the warning for town meeting in time. And, I sent all the paperwork into the, Northern Rivers Land Trust, for that conservation easement up in Bear Swamp. And we're able to so far raise $5,600 towards the 65. Mostly Jim Ryan, he had a Swamp Fest party or something and donations. And they put something in their newsletter too for people to donate, so we're almost there.
How much would we raise again?
5,600,
Out of 6,000?
6,500. No, it's backwards. So I have, does anyone else have anything?
We have the two reminders that the draft hazard management plan is still it's under state review right now, and we're just awaiting comments. But just wanted to let the board know that we have confirmation from the state that we won't experience any PRAS penalty, which kind of dictates how much we can get from the states for the FEMA grants. And also a reminder of the public hearing being held next Monday to solicit public comments regarding the draft Wolcott Municipal Development Plan, which would be running from 2026 to 2033. You can view a copy on the website, or I can email you a copy, and there is one printed copy in the lobby just for office review, because it's like 150, I mean, it's a big one. And that meeting's next Monday at 6 p.m.
Is it by Zoom too?
I haven't had a lot to do with it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it would be by Zoom, because it's public comment.
I was gonna say, it should be by Zoom, but I know that last Monday was our scheduled, our recurring meeting that you're checking was for
It's
last
not
Monday.
It's part of planning commission?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can run over to the planning commission and like see if we.
I may have created a special meeting, I'm not. I
The
can't
planning
remember.
commission's recurring link has disappeared, but the meeting still exists. You can get to it from the website.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
If
clicked.
you have the address.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it back.
Anything else?
Yeah. Flat iron 277 still has the same amount of vehicles.
I mentioned that we have until the end of December, and I sent Michael an email today saying he needs to remind him. But he has until the end of December before we start issuing violations, because the vehicles are tied up in probate. I think I mentioned this in the last report. And a couple of vehicles, he promised that he would have 2 of them gone by the end of December. So that's when we can start issuing the violations.
Okay, Richard, we're waiting for you.
Well, may I make a motion to adjourn this select board meeting? At what the hell is it?
8:38.
8:38 p.m.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor? All right. Thank you for joining.
See,
Good to see you,
I'm
Rick.
glad to do it. Take it easy.
Just because it means we get to go home, but the smile